Hi, so today I'm going to do a very quick guide on how to do head turnarounds. Hi, my name is Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. I was asked about head turnarounds. I did a previous video about getting consistent characters, and in it I had done a character turnaround of my characters that I used to get my characters to look consistent from every angle. But then, of course, the question is, how do you even do a turnaround to begin with? Especially when the character has complex head shapes, masses, noses, like all the complexities that come with any kind of turnaround, whether it's just muscular or muscles or head or whatever. So I thought I'd very quickly talk about this because this is a very involved process. It takes a very long time. There's a lot of decisions going on. This isn't simple. There's a reason why it's a job in the animation industry to do turnarounds, and it's a lot of hard work. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick guide as to the general idea, what you need to be thinking about, how to set it up for yourself so that you're able to do a turnaround successfully with your character. And there is no absolute fast way of doing this. There's no right decisions to be made with things. As I've discovered as I was doing my head turnarounds, you still gotta you've got to make decisions about your character as you go, especially if you've only got your character drawn from one position. You're going to have to make difficult decisions in throughout the process as to how and what looks what where and how does something fit, and it's a difficult thing. So that's one of the reasons why it's going to be quick. I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours working on this stuff. It's actually painfully grueling to do this thing. But I thought I would show you what I did, for example, with my a quick example of how I approached my head turnarounds with my characters. Here's a drawing of one of my characters' heads. It's like I said, it's gonna be a head turnaround, not a whole body turnaround. It's body turnaround is even more complicated. There's a lot more to it, but because this is supposed to be as basic as I possibly can make it, I just want to give you as many tips as possible in the shortest amount of time, so that it's not like hours and hours and hours of just watching me do this. So I took this. So this is one of the characters. I'd never done a turnaround of this character. But one of the things that helps, and one of the things that in the animation industry when we're doing turnarounds, is that we have a light box, and we use all the animation tools that we have, like the light box, like flipping paper, like drawing, like that sort of thing that works in animation really helps when you're doing a head turnaround. I have this character here. Let me show you the full body of the character so that you could at least see what I'm talking about here. So this is the full body of the character here, like this. So I took this, and of course I zoomed in to the head. And this is all I've got of the character. I designed the character. This is as far as I got. There's nothing else but this. So the very first thing I've got to do when I'm working on a head turnaround is to solidify or finalize at least a single head. Like, for example, this is one of the heads. The 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 trick here when you're working on this is to, like I said, finalize a single head. One of the things that you have to worry about is having the head be consistent throughout. So the what I discovered was easier for me was to take the design once you have it and you're going to want to finalize it, is to come up with a head shape on its own layer. And actually, before I even continue, what I'm doing here is I'm going to do what I would do on traditionally, which is to take a drawing and use, say, a light box and all the animation tools to get the job done. So this would be like a layer or a sheet of paper where I would try to solve just the general structure of the head. Now, when we're talking about general structures of the head, you got to remember that what we're dealing with is something along these lines, right? Like something like around this way or this. Okay, so we're thinking about the head, and we're thinking about the head, and it's going to be broken down into these kind of three-dimensional planes. So this can't be done if you're not good at understanding head structure and head planes. This is going to be extremely difficult for you if you don't understand that these general concepts. So this would be, I'm gonna do a 3/4, because this is, I already started with the 3/4, and then I'm gonna want to do a front and a let's say a profile. So I'm beginning with this. This is my most basic starting point. I'm going to then take this, create a new layer, and see if I can't do a front. Like, where would the front be? So I would take the head shape that I've got, and it would probably just be this. And it would have to be split in half. So I need to even this out a bit. So already I have to make a decision. I have to make decisions that are different than my 3/4. But I'm giving myself this general head. So what I found that helps is flipping back and forth like you would an animated scene. So I am going to import new animation folder. Let me see. Edit timeline, new timeline, new timeline. Yeah, 24 frames, blah. Okay, so we have this, and we have that one. I haven't used this in a long time, so So this layer here and this layer here. I need to shrink this down a lot. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I want one frame each. That way I can flip between them. There we go. So I'm just looking at it this way, like this. Okay. And then finally, I'm gonna do a 3/4. I will overlap some of this so that I can actually see what I'm doing here. I'm going to turn this off for a second and create a new layer. This timeline is really getting in the way. I'll just pull it out. And use it as needed. Okay. So this new layer will be the profile. So we know that when we pull the, so that we know that the head in the profile is kind of like half. It's like half, right? There's a lot of skull on that side. Here is the jaw, and here is the chin. So we connect. Okay, so we have, let's see our timeline here. I want to move it, not grow it. We have this, we have this, and then we have this. So we already have a head turn. This is it's not quite right. Let me put these in the right order. Okay. It's a little bit better. Okay. It's a little better. All right. So let's take a look at the head that we've got here. So this is where we start getting, it starts getting a little tricky. I am going to create a folder here, and I'm going to group, and I'm gonna create an area for my eyes. So these are the eyes. I'll do the really rough. I don't want to get too precise here. But the idea here is that these are the anchor points. And this should, in theory, be rhythmically connected. So this layer works with this. To make it easier, I think I just need to make sure that that folder is working there, like that. That way anything in that folder is now automatically part of that. It's not showing up. There we go. All right. So this is the eyes. This is the head. This will be the nose. I'm thinking about this structurally. I can clean it up later. When you're dealing with something as complicated as a human head, you want to give yourself as much information as possible. You could always adjust it later. The mouth. Again, I'm adding a little bit more structure than my final line here has. There's two balls here, usually in the mouth. So I'm solidifying this a little bit more. Let me add some ears in here too. Ears. Okay. So the tricky part here is the front. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer here. Folder. I'm going to call this folder 3/4. Call this folder front. Anything in this folder I'm going to put in my timeline. Let me see. Front. Anything in this folder is going to only be exposed in that frame. So now here's where digital is a little bit helpful. I'm going to grab everything, mouth, ears and nose, and I am going to duplicate it, and I'm going to drag it down here and to the front. So I have them all copied. Oh, and this eye isn't showing up because I only have it exposed there. Okay. So why did I do that for the front? And that is, see how it's not quite working. Well, because with the eyes, for example, with all of these, I could grab them and then just adjust them over. So I'm looking at this eye. This nose will be in the center a little bit more, and the mouth, oops, mouth will be a little bit more in the center. And at this point, what I can do is I can have that be as a rough, and maybe with the nose too, with the eye. I can then maybe make some adjustments here, for example, with the eye. And mirror image it. And that's not helpful, that's not very useful, but I'm going to keep moving forward. Do the same with the nose. Do the same with the mouth. Oops, I didn't duplicate it. So everything but the eyes seem to be right. What I'd want to do is I'd want to take the eyes and adjust them to something that feels a little bit more satisfying. So I'm going to merge these. Merge these. Merge these. And eyes. So let me just flip through these and see what's working and what's not working. Okay, so and at this point, you kind of, it's okay if it's a little bit mirror imagey, but really what the thing is that human heads aren't really mirror images, so you kind of want a little bit of variation. Remember, this is just a general head turnaround. Okay, she needs ears. What do the ears look like from the front? They tend to look like this. Just making more adjustments. This is all rough. This is just rough placement. My 3/4 eye, one of the reasons why I didn't really do much with it was because that's pretty much the way I was going to draw it anyway. It kind of looked a little bit more straight on anyway. But depending on what the style that I'm using it lends itself to that. But that's not necessarily true of everything, of every style. So you may not have been able to. What I would recommend is if your style doesn't lend itself to that, is drag the eye over just to have it as a size relationship, as the right size, and whoops, I drew stuff on the nose layer, huh? And just use that as a size relationship, and then redraw the eye. What else did I draw on the wrong layer? What happened? Okay, so that's my front. I would still need to make slight adjustments to the head shape. This head shape is kind of, I'm drawing it on the eye layer, aren't I? This head shape's not working for me. It's just too spiky. Compared to the 3/4, it needs to be much softer. And maybe, see, so I'm still I have to make artistic decisions based on what I want this character to look like still. There isn't an absolute here. The whole time I'm making adjustments. Okay, and then now this is, I think, is almost always much more difficult. So I'm going to do sort of the same thing with the eyes and the nose and the mouth, sort of, but there's going to be a lot more adjustment when it comes to the to this bit here. So once again, I'm going to make a folder. This is going to be called Profile. I'm going to add this folder into I'm going to add this head, and so we have the front profile. The timing is already sort of there. Go. And what I'm going to do, just like with the 3/4, I'm going to grab actually the ear I forgot the ear last time. Eyes, nose, mouth. I'm going to drag it in. Some of these are not exposed correctly, so I'm going to have to expose them. So I could see them. Like this one. And this one. Okay. So the ear, well, everything I'm dragging over. So I'm going to drag the ear here. I'm going to drag the mouth here. The nose. I have no idea. Somewhere around there, I guess. The eyes. There. So we're thinking about this. See how this is all, where the eye would be in here. The mouth, there's this clear motion here that goes that way. So this is where it gets trickier, because on the one hand, you've never seen your character up on profile. So what we're doing this time with all these body parts is that we're using them as a guide. So similar to the way that I said, if your 3/4 eye didn't quite work the way that it did with mine, you use it as a guide. Well, here, this is what I meant. So beginning with the eyes, let's begin with the eyes, or even the head shape. So I'm gonna start playing with the head shapes here. So I know that the eye, this is kind of where the eye will be. So here's the forehead. So, and then we want to look at this type of head. So I'm going to have this as my reference over here on the side, so I can take a look at it. You won't be able to see it, but I'll have it there so I could take a look at it. And then here's the brow. So I'll have this come in. There's the nose. The nose could do this. Point here. This point here. This comes down here this way. So boom, boom, boom. So maybe this is what I want from my head. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. But this is the first attempt here. Okay, so I'm gonna put in the eye and see what happens. The eye comes in. Here's the nose. The nose will end here. The eye will come in here. So you kind of have to know the structure of the eye. And how this stuff works. So that would be my eye. And my nose Maybe that. Nose. And my mouth. Chin. The nose I'm unhappy with, so I'm going to fix it. So mouth. I'm getting confused here with the head, so I'm going to, okay. So the nose is doing this instead. I want it to do that. The head shape, I want it to do this instead. The mouth is connected to the chin. I did this thing with the mouth that I drew the chin and the mouth layer. The head shape. There we go. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Delete, yes. Delete that one, yes. Delete that, yes. It's getting too confusing. The eyes have the brow. And finally the ear. Now with the head, front side of the head, I probably should have dragged the ear in, the ear layer in also, just to get the right size relationship. I don't know why all these have disappeared. Did I accidentally? Oh, I see. Oof, I messed up big time. I just deleted all my features from, instead of dragging. Okay, I'm gonna try to fix my mistake here by undoing as much as possible. And dragging all this back. Okay. And now I gotta fix that head shape again. And oops, forgot about the ear. I must have deleted the whole ear. Ear. Draw that again. See how it can get kind of tedious. And I'm drawing this really, really rough because this is all adjusting and fixing and whatever this ear is going to look like. I don't feel like designing it right now. But then here we go. Get rid of that. Okay. And turn this back. So we've kind of got what we want. The profile still needs adjustments. Like I gotta get rid of this stuff here. Is that what I want though? Is that it? So maybe I want this to come in more. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not all set in stone. You still got to make some decisions here. And this isn't even the cleanup stage where you're going to have to make decisions even in the cleanup stage. But so the idea being, in general, for all of this that we're doing, and why are we doing this on top of each other? Why is it layered on top of each other like the way that I did it? The idea being that everything lines up to itself, like the eyes line up, the tips of the nose line up, the bottom of the nose lines up, the mouths line up, the jaws line up, the ear, the top of the ear to the bottom of the ears line up. The top of the heads should, theoretically, they're not right now, lining up. And again, right now you can't see them transparently, but what can be done here is you could turn, you can overlap all the all the layers here, and then check them. These are not lined up very well because the stuff is not exposed. I didn't expose everything to the same layers. Gotta go back and just make sure what's exposed where. I'm actually very grateful that the Clip Studio Paint has this animation layer thing happening, because I can use the animation tools to do stuff like this. Okay, this I will turn to green so that I can tell all the layers apart. See, so everything lines up, right? Like the noses, the tips of the noses should line up. They don't. The mouths do. They pretty much look like they do because I dragged the. But the eyes line up. The brows, top of the head. So what I need to do is fix this nose so that they line up a little bit more. Now, in animation, it's more important. That said, you could still morph. Now, so like for example, I could draw a line from here to here. And from here to here. And then I can what's happening here? Oh, is this the head? See, now they line up. Then I could erase this. And now they line up. The chins should line up, the bottom of the mouths. So that's in a, you know, the gist of a turnaround. And you do that for the other side. You also do that for the back, the 3/4 back, and that's a whole other thing that you have to pay attention to. What does that look like? When you're doing the backs of the head, what does like the 3/4 back look like? How much of the features are seen when you're doing 3/4 back? What does it look like from the, and then when you're turning. So it really does help to have like a little something like this to like help, because that's what you're basically doing. You're turning these characters that are flat 2D things into 3-dimensional So I did this. It's quick and dirty. It's as fast as I possibly could. It's friggin' took me 50 minutes. Um, so I've done this with my character. I took this and see if I could. It's not it. There we go. So this is one of the. So what I did here was is kind of the same thing with the head. You know how I did the head, the way that the head turns and all this other stuff. And I even went so far as to find where the neck connects to the bottom of the skull. But it was the same process. But what I did was I also broke down the hair. So the hair was its own thing. Like I waited till the end after I did the head shape, and then I did the hair, which was a huge pain in the neck because look how friggin' bumpy and all the stuff. And I had to figure out how the hair was gonna do that. And I even went more incrementally. Like I not only did a profile, but I did a 3.5 look. What did I call it? 3/4. Oh, 3/4 side. I called it 3/4 side, as if that really. That's slightly more closer to profile. I did that, and then I did the crazy. I just went nuts. I went. Well, this I used this as a guide too. This helped, but then I did this. Looking up. It's the same. You know, if you have the. I mean, you really need something. You have the 3/4, and then you do the 3/4 this way. You just need something to look at. I happen to use a drawing, but ideally, it's better to do it's better to do the CG model. I just at the time I didn't have the tool. I didn't know that this existed. This is from Sketchfab, by the way. Sketchfab. If you type in what did I type in? Planer head, I think, or something like that. So you can turn it this way, and you can look at how it looks like as a guide. And then I did that, looking down. But it's super pain in the neck. So yeah. So that's my tip. So you do the 3/4, the profile and the 3/4 and all that stuff. But again, you draw it on top of this to line things up. I think perhaps this head could probably be a little, if anything, I think this head should be a little further out. I think. Maybe not. In any case, that's it. Hopefully these tips help. But it really does help to be able to draw heads three-dimensionally to begin with, structurally, construction, all that stuff. You need to be able to draw noses, very solid, planar, um, mouths, eyes, all the features. You have to know, you have to understand them, so to be able to draw them anatomically, so that you're able to turn them in space when you need to turn them. You got to be able to understand the planes of the head, so that you understand what goes where, all that stuff. I was applying all of that in a very quick and dirty way, but you need to know all that stuff in order to be able to turn your head. If not, if you don't understand any of that stuff, your head, no matter how you turn, is going to look super wonky and messed up, because you don't have that kind of head structure knowledge to make it look right. And that's going to be a very, very, very big frustration to you. So if you don't understand any of that stuff, you need to study it, because otherwise you won't be able to turn your head the way you want to. Okay, so those are my tips. That's quick and dirty, as fast as I possibly could do it. It took an hour, unfortunately, but it's as fast as I could do it. Like just to try to give you as quick and dirty tips as possible to be able to do any kind of turnaround. Same with the body, all the stuff that's applicable to the head here is applicable to the body. All those body parts when they turn and stuff, it's something that is very, very time consuming. You really got to measure, like you want to have the drawings on top of each other, and then just make sure that everything lines up, and then that when you're turning the character, it's turning correctly. You want to have a CG model of some sort to look around, make sure that everything is turning the way you want it to turn. What it actually looks like in 3D space and for real, all that stuff. Anything that you can get that'll help guide your body turns, your head turns, so that you could understand this stuff better. It's also a very good way of learning this stuff, which is you want to, if you have a skull and you want to turn it in space, then you do this. You practice by turning a skull in space. Then you learn all the facets of the skull as it turns in space. It's a really good exercise. So I highly recommend all that stuff. If you found this useful, I would encourage you to help me out and support me on Patreon, because this is something that I do for free. And also, if you don't know anything about drawing, I do have a course that will help you if you don't know how to draw anything. You can't draw yourself out of a paper bag. You've always you were interested in drawing, but you don't know where to start. You have no talent at all, but you want to be able to draw. Then I do have a course that will help you do that, and it'll get you the confidence you need to start moving forward and start to draw on your own, because talent is not required, only desire. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.